Hi everyone, welcome to Math Wizards 123. On this video we're going to take a look at how to find the mean of a set of numbers. So I'm going to solve two problems, and then I'll show you another card game that you can play to practice along at home with your friends or family. So let's just get started on the first problem here. So if I'm taking a look, hello DJ. Wow, you're right on time. Okay, if you have a sheet of paper, you can practice these two problems together with me. I'm just going to show how to find the average of a set of numbers, and then we're going to go into the card game together so you can practice it with smaller numbers. All right, let me just get this centered here so you can see. So I was imagining that let's say there is a pet store owner, and he's trying to figure out what is the average number of fish that people are buying each day to put in their aquarium. So he kept a record of these 6 customers. The first customer bought 3, second one 10, third customer 6 fish, 4, 5, and then 14. So if I want to find the average, what I need to do first is add up all these numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and just add these up. What I like to do when I have a long string of numbers like this is just search for numbers that make 10, because that makes it a little bit easier. Down here we have a 9, so I can pull these together for 19, and then 19 plus the 3 more up here. Okay, let's see. If you want, you can go like this, and then set it up like that. And I get 22, so I have to carry the 2 over here. And now I'm going to go ahead and just add my 10. So I have 2, 3, 4, for a total of 42 fish. So remember, these, we're talking about the fish that the customers bought. So to find the average means that we're going to take this total number of fish and we're going to evenly divide it among the 6 customers to find out, well, what is the average number of fish that are being purchased on this day. So I'm going to take the 42 over here and then just go ahead and divide by the 6 customers. Okay, and then if you know your facts right away, you can go ahead with the answer on this one. The other way that I've shown for the long division is to go with your facts to think, well, what is 1 times 6, 2 times 6, 3 times 6, 4 times 6, and then 5 times 6 is 30. Now, if you were going to go with the strategy only using your 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s, I could start off by taking out a group of 5, or 5 groups of the 6, and then subtract. But then you're going to see I still have 12, so right here I can take 2 more groups out, and then that makes 12. Okay, now some of you right away, if you know your facts, you would remember that 6 times 7 equals the 42. So the average number of fish that were purchased on this day is 7. Okay, so our steps were to add up all of the values and then divide by the number of values that there were in the pile. Remember, we divided by 6 because there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 customers that we were tallying. Okay, good job, DJ. It is 7 on that one. Now we're going to move to 2-digit numbers over here. So if we just imagine that maybe we're, again, shopping for shoes, and I'm just looking to see what is the average cost of a pair of these shoes that I'm looking at. So moving around to different stores, I find all these different prices. Then I can look and see what is the average price. So the first step is to go ahead and add up all the values. Okay, so right away on this, looking in my 1s column, I see a group of 10 right here. So 10 plus the 3 more, we have 13. And then over here, I see 3 5s, so I've already got 15, plus the 1 here, 16, plus 4 is 20, plus the 5 right here. So I came up with 253. So now remember, these are dollars. So what now I'm imagining that if I'm taking all of these dollars, imagine that these are dollar bills, and then you're going to evenly distribute them among each of the 6 pairs of shoes. Okay, because we had prices for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pairs of shoes. So I'm going to take this over here and get it set up to do my division. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just double check to see how many values were in the stack. And then we can come over here and do it 1 group of 6, 2 groups of 6. So we can find the biggest number that I can pull out of this pile. 3 groups of 6, 4 groups of 6. Okay, I'm already at 24, and then 5 groups of 6 I know is 30. Now, I imagine if I'm putting a 0 on the end of any of these numbers, 300 would be too big, so I'm going to use this value right here, and instead of 4 groups of 6, I'm going to add a 0. Okay, and then that will make my answer 24 with a 0 here. Alright, so 40 groups of 6 I can take out. And then subtract to see what I have left here. And now I'm just looking at my values over here to continue dividing. I know I can take another 12 out of the pile, so I'll do 2 groups of 6 next. Okay. Now this is less than my divisor, so I'm done dividing for now. I know I have $42. I'm going to set that up here as in my answer. But if we wanted to go a little further, we can take this number. If you remember from my previous video, we can take this number down and add a 0 to it, and then continue dividing to see what would the next digit be in the decimal. So if we were going to take this $1 and divide it equally among these 6 pairs of shoes, how much change would we be putting in each one? So but I have to add a 0 here because now we're in the decimal zone. So we're looking to see what are the next 2 numbers coming up. So I know that with 10, I could take 1 group of 6 out from there. So 1 is the next number that goes here. And if I want to keep going, now this is enough for me to round this dollar amount. Since it's a 1, I'm going to keep the 42 as it is. So I'm going to say the average cost of the pairs of shoes is $42. Now if you wanted to continue and find the next digit, or the next digit that goes here in the decimal, you just pop a 0 right here. And then we know 6 times 6 is 36. So that would be the next. But I only need 1 more in order to round this dollar amount. Okay, so the average here is $42. So now for the card game, it's up to you. If you want to use scratch paper to figure out what your average is for each hand, you can use a calculator. Yeah, great job, DJ. I got 6 on that one too. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle a few times. I'm going to deal out 6 cards. I'll do my hand first, and then I'll deal another hand for you. So you can watch me on the first hand just to see how I'm figuring out what the average is. And then we can do 5 hands each to see who has the highest score. Alright, so for my first hand, let's make sure you can see all my numbers in here. Okay, so again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add up all of my values. So I like to try to make 10s when I can. 8 and 2 makes a 10, so there's 20 right there. And then 5 and 6 is 11. Well, let's see, we could just say 20 plus 6 is 26, plus 5 more makes 31, 33. So I have a total of 33 across all of my cards, if you agree with that. Okay, But then I have to take the 33 and then divide by 6. So I'm going to do it quickly on the calculator here just to move the game along. And my answer is 5.5, so 5.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to round it up to a total of 6. So my first hand is a total of 6. So if the decimal on your calculator is 5 or bigger, 5 or more, then I'm going to just go ahead and round the number up to the next number. So the 5 becomes a 6. Okay, so my first hand is the average of 6. So let's see what your hand is going to be on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just put these in order if this helps you at all. Sometimes we can pull the numbers together that make a 10, but I don't. Well, I do see a 7 and a 3 here. You could pull those for a 10. But you might be looking at this and say, oh, well, I know what 3 times 7 is. 3 times 7 is 21. So you could start with 21 and then add from there. 21 plus 8 plus 7 more. Okay, that makes sense because the total of the cards is 36, and now we're going to take all of those values and divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. So 36 divided by 6 is 6. All right, so we're tied right now. I have 6 and you have 6. All right, here comes the next hand. Now remember the jacks are worth 11, queens are going to be worth 12, and kings are worth 13. Okay, so I'm just going to add up a 12 for my queen, a 13 for my king, and then I have a 9 here, plus 20 more. So I have 36 again. 36 divided by 6, that gives me a score of 6 again. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and shuffle, or not shuffle, I'm going to deal your hand next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll pull these over here for you. I don't know if that helps you or not to have them in order. You can let me know if you want me to just keep them as they are. Remember, the jack is going to be worth 11, and then the queen is 12, and then the king is 13. Plus, we have 4 and a 5, which is 9. Okay, so then I see a total of 45 altogether. So if I divide that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values that we had in our hand. Oh, you got 40 in all? Let me double check. So 11, 12 for the queen, 13 for the king, plus the 4, plus 5. I came up with 45 in all. Okay, I'll hold on while you finish calculating. 45, I got 45 total, and then I divided all of that by the 6 cards, or the 6 values that we have on the table. And we do have to be really careful because when we're adding, we have to make sure that we add all the values correctly, because it can change your answer even if you're off by 1 or 2. Okay, you're coming up with 44. Let me try it from this end. I'll go from side to side. 2 plus the 3, I got 5, plus the 4 more, that makes 9. 9 plus the 11, I came up with 20 here. And then we're adding 12 points for the queen. So that makes 32 plus 13 for the king. Might be tricky because we're trying to remember what these face cards are worth. So I have 45 altogether. And then when you divide the 45 by 6, I get 7.5. So if you're looking at 7.5 on your calculator, if you're using a calculator while you play this card game, because this decimal is a 5 or bigger, we're going to add one more. Great, that makes sense. So 8 is going to be your score for this hand. Okay. This game is a little bit more challenging because we really have to be careful how we add up the values and then when we divide them. So I'm going to go ahead again. I don't know why, it just helps me to look at these to remember especially what numbers to be adding for the face cards. So I have 8, 10, 11, 12, and 13 that I'm going to be adding together. So the double the 8, I get 16, plus 10 more, so the 20 makes 26. Now I'm going to add 11, so that's 37, and then plus a 12 for the queen, I get 49, plus 13 more for the king. So I have 62, and I'm going to divide that by 6. So I get 10 and then a repeating decimal of 3. So 3 is less than 5, so I'm not going to round the 10 up at all. I'm just going to keep it at 10. So my score for this hand is a 10. Not bad. Let's see what you get on the next hand here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can let me know if you want me to leave your cards as they are. I just keep rearranging them in order. And now you can either pull together if you do see any numbers that make a 10, like right here I could pull these together. Now the queen is going to be worth 12. So I'm going to give you time to go ahead and add those up, and we'll see if we get the same thing. Okay, you have a 29, so I'm looking at a 7 here, plus an 11 here, so that brings me to 18, plus the 9 brings me to 27, and then this is a 12. So yeah, 30, whoa, 29? Okay, good. So I'll just keep doing it in order if that helps. Somehow I got 39. Let me try it again, because it's really important to just double check. I'm adding 7 plus 11, that's 18, and then plus 9 more. I got 27 already here, plus I'm going to add 12 more to that. So I got 39, and then if that's divided by 6, I get 6.5. So then the 6.5 would have to be rounded up to a 7. Yeah, this is a challenging one, huh? Okay, let's try one more hand for each of us here. Here's my hand. And we have, it's a little handier if you're using a calculator while you play the card game. I know sometimes we have to do it, calculate it out on paper. But while we play the game, the calculator can be make it a little easier. It helps you to just kind of step through the process of finding the average without having to do all the calculations. So I'm going to pull the 1 and the 3, so I have a 4 here, plus the 7 makes 11, plus 9 more gives me 20, and then plus 11 gives me 31, and then plus 13 for the king gives me 44. So I'm going to divide that by 6, and I get 7 decimal point 3 repeating. So I'm not going to round the 7 up, I'm just going to keep it as 7 total for my score there. And I am keeping track of our points this time, not like the last time. Pretty good though, we haven't had too much of the buffering going on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So here comes your numbers in order. And I'll let you add that together. See, I see a 10 here, and then when I grab these two cards together, that's another 10, so there's already 20, and then we just need to pull these into it. So try to do mental math as much as you can while playing this game. And then that total, I came up with 24 on your hand. And then that 24 needs to be divided by 6. So let me know if you also came up with the total of 4 for your hand here. Okay, great. So now let's go ahead and just add up all your points that you have so far, and I will add up all of mine. And just let me know if you weren't keeping track of all of them, because I have it listed over here on the side. So when I totaled my points, I have 29 after these 4 hands that we played. Okay. What did you get for your total? 29. Did you beat 29? Remember, you still get a ticket into the raffle, so. Okay, so well, I kept track of yours. You had 6 on the first hand, 8 on the next, 7 on the third, and then 4 on the last hand, so that totals to 25. So it looks like I beat you this time. But it was fun playing. I know this game is a little bit more challenging, but it's really good practice to help you to figure out how to find the average of a group of numbers, because we use this skill all the time. 6 plus 8 plus 38 plus 4. Well, I was looking at your final score, not the totals of the cards. I was looking at what was the average. So your first average was 6, your next average was 8, your third average was 7, and then your fourth average was the number 4. So when you add those 4 numbers, 6, 8, 7, and 4, that's a total score for the game of 25. Okay, well, I hope you had fun playing, and go ahead and tune in tomorrow the same time. Oh no, you're gonna, sometimes it just takes a little bit of practice with finding the average, because we have a lot of numbers here that we're adding together, so it makes it a lot easier to make mistakes along the way, which is fine. We just go back and double check as we're adding up the numbers. So we'll keep practicing. How about we play one more round tomorrow before we pull a name out of the hat? We'll play maybe 2 rounds each and see if you can beat me on that one. Okay? So I'm going to sign off now, and hopefully we'll see you in here tomorrow. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye, DJ.